Yo, what's going on with you YouTube? Jumpman Chris here. We're coming back at y'all with another vid, and we have another topic of the little sneaker recession. But I like to call this, sometimes I do in this video, is bricks to resell. But this time I want to talk about the pain and off, like just what happened. We're calling these the sneaker flops, meaning sneakers that were one point at the time when they were really high in resale, and then they basically bricked out. So, but hey, these are maybe some shoes now that you guys want. You guys can get them actually for retail. So all this complaining about before, like in the past few years, like, oh, resale has been so crazy, so hard to get shoes, and resales are way too much. But this might be a time when, like, this might be some pain I bring up, because maybe this is a time when we actually paid so high, or some of the shoes on this list, you might not want it to be on the list because you might be paid the high, or you're investing in these. But hey, you never know, it could go up and down. The world's kind of crazy right now, so I just want to talk about as today, as in right now, compared to what it was. Anyways, let's just start off with pull some shoes out that I actually got. So some of it's a little bit it pains me to look at these, but some of them I got for retail, and you know what, I don't really care if they went up or high or whatever. So some of them I did pay high, I'm not gonna lie, but hey, it's all good. It is what it is. There's some collabs here, some hype stuff, some new stuff, and some retro stuff. So let's just start off with. I'm gonna start off with some some Jordans, obviously Air Jordan 1s. We already know the vibes. It's been kind of a little light lately, and yes, the Rebellioners. You can already say these weren't going for much, but at least they were kind of going for something. This was definitely a shoe I did not want to invest in. It's a cool shoe to have, you know, for my personal. You know, I love the X. But anyways, I'm still looking for the Band 2011s. If anyone have a size 9, 9.5, and 10, if you're not taxing it, if you don't change the price up on me, I'll buy it. Anyways, I remember these things. These things were going for at least like $250, even high 200s. Again, didn't think this was a good shoe to invest in. Looking at the price now, the way how these things are, these things just released, the price is going less than 200, almost retail. But hey, if you guys like this shoe, it's a good time to buy now. Another Air Jordans early this year release, the UNC 6. I did make a hold and sell video. There was a lot of hype on the shoe to begin with. You know, the UNC colorway, a lot of people thought this shoe was going to do pretty good. I did make a hold and sell saying, do not hang on to these things. It's an Air Jordan 6. Release date, these things were touching like $300. You guys see it right now. They definitely tanked to almost retail. Remember, retailing these things were $210. And they're basically going about the lowest ask is like 220 and or about 200, something like that. Definitely went down, but again, it's still a dope shoe. So if you guys want to cop it, this is definitely a good shoe to cop now while the price is low. Another is some collabs. These things actually kind of bricked out, which is actually kind of surprising. Yes, I know, I get it. It's an Air Jordan 2. But again, it's a Union collab. I made a video also saying I think these things are gonna go down. A lot of people in the comments really got me. I feel like it was more on Union's part, maybe because of the way how this release was handled. A lot of people were pretty upset about it. A lot of people got their, their credit card charged a whole bunch of times, and they were hold on to those charges until had to refund it back, and it took like another month for a month for them to finally ship to you. Then they cancel your orders, and then they made you go to another order or something. It was all crazy. This release was definitely god awful, but again, these things definitely went down. These things were at like 300 plus, something like that, maybe even like 4 on some sizes, and these things definitely has bricked down to basically almost retail. Remember, these things shipped to you because Union did give it to you. They helped you with the shipping, with all the craziness going on. These things probably got to your door about 220. They're basically about the same price now, about 220, maybe mid 200s. A little bit, not too much. If you were to sell on the apps, you're basically making your money back. Crazier thing is, the gray fogs are going more than the ratatas or the ratans, which I think a lot more people were more hyped on these on the release date because this was the Union exclusive, even though in my opinion I thought this was a way more better colorway. We talk about some more collabs like the Travis Scott, the trainers, both the colorways. I owned one of them at one point. I definitely let them go. The brown joints were okay, the wheats or whatever, they definitely bricked under retail, y'all. Like, they bricked under retail. Like, most sizes going for mid, like 150. you know, and these things retail for like $175, and people were pretty hyped at these things because this was the Travis Scott that came back. I mean, I remember before the release date, people wanted like $1,200 for these things. Rest in peace for the people that paid for that. But it's a trainer. It's kind of, I didn't really expect these things to do anything crazy, but you know, again, it's a Travis Scott name, you know. Oh, if we're talking about some rappers, we gotta definitely talk about some of the Yeezys. The Zebras, of course. You guys already know the deal, right? Remember when these things first came out, 2016, these things were like $1,500, the very first release. People were trading like 10 to 12 pairs. And of course, they released a couple times. They were definitely going for still for some bread though. These things were like at 300 plus before this last recent restock. But you know, these things restocked so many freaking times. These things bound to brick out, right? I mean, even though it's an iconic colorway, I think kind of Yeezy 350's definitely been, you know, 350 V2s, they definitely been kind of, you know, a little played out a little bit. It's been a little bit too long. I mean, they've been releasing like 10 colorways, 10 350s every single year, and I think a lot of people just not really feeling V2s no more. And even with the OG colorway like this, yeah, it's basically going for nothing. So you can say the same thing with the Belugas. If you want to say the same thing about the Belugas, it's still a little bit of bread to make, definitely. But if you were to sell on the apps, basically to make it nothing. But this is the reflective joint. The reflective joints, they definitely are not doing anything crazy. I think a little bit less than 300. But still, it's still an iconic colorway. I still actually like this colorway. I do have the reflective. I still have my OG pair, which came out in 2016, 15, something like that. The reflective pair is definitely the one that is low. The OG pair are still going for a decent amount of bread, but I think the OG pairs are like, it's really weird how the market is. Lowest ask is like 500, but highest bid is only 300. So I guess it just depends on who wants to sell it or who wants to buy it. The one, probably one of the best Yeezys to ever come out, or actually the best 700s. These are the GOAT, you know, and how many times have these things actually restocked? I think these things restock more than the Zebras, to be honest, you know. But still, they were still going for a decent amount of bread. These were still at 400 plus. But this last time that they restocked is definitely not going for that much. I think these things are only going for like $300, which you were probably thinking like, oh, $300, that's cool. But remember, these things retail for $300. Yeah, it's a pretty expensive shoe, especially for retail. But again, not really going for much for the resale market. So number one flop sneaker probably of all time, man. And you know what, I probably have to apologize to you guys, man. I'm very sorry, but definitely the patent leather breads, man. The hype on these things when they first came out was for reals. These things were like at least 400 to 500, even like some sizes like 300, mid 300s. I get it, it was during holiday season, but my goodness, the way they freaking tanked. These things are going maybe 200, some even under 200 on some sizes. So yeah, these things definitely kept going down, and I thought these things were going to be a good hold. I still say, if you guys do have pairs, I wouldn't be really discouraged. Then again, guys, it's also dependent on sizes. I did say try to get bigger sizes. Small sizes didn't really do anything much. So small sizes are basically breaking out. Big sizes are still touching high 200s. Some touching even 300s. But again, they were touching like 400 and stuff like that. So they definitely went down quite a bit. Yeah, this is definitely the one that I had to apologize to you guys, man. But man, if you guys invested like 100 pair of these things, I am sorry, man. These things definitely went down. Like, yeah, I had a lot of pairs, but I definitely moved them. I didn't move them for a loss though. I did move them for some bread. I didn't make as much, but like the way how the market was, I wasn't trying to take any crazy chances, so I let them all go. I only have a personal now. This is the only personal I have. So I still think it's a dope shoe. It's an OG colorway, you know, it's an Air Jordan 1. You know, maybe if the world kind of get itself together, these things could go up. Now with the reimagined Chicago Air Jordan 1, they could bring a little bit of hype back on these things. But again, it's a patent leather bread. I think a lot of people definitely like the OG ones better, but still, man, I could make a full dedicated video talking about these things, but it is what it is. I just want to say I apologize if I brought some pain out there. The market is pretty crazy right now. We're, you know, the sneaker correction, sneaker recession, whatever you guys want to call this thing. Definitely it's been kind of crazy lately. So But guys, just again, these are some shoes that you actually want for the personal or something like that, and you never had a chance. Maybe try a cop them now. They're not really going for anything crazy. You're basically getting a little bit over retail or at retail. Shoes are going for basically retail as it is now, or a lot of shoes are actually sitting. So take advantage now while the prices are down. I'm not saying that prices will always be like this, because you never know. By next week, these things could go crazy up, or next month, next year, they could go crazy up. We just never know how the world is and how the market is, man. So just take advantage while you guys can. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. If you guys don't mind, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe if it's your first time here, comment down below, and please hit that bell for all the notifications when I do drop vids. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media at Jumpman Chris on IG, sometimes on Twitter, and don't forget Snapchat. I'm also on TikTok. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I'm Jumpman Chris. Peace.